High praise for Jeff Wilson. He said he's the most complete rugby player on the planet this week. Would you agree with that, Shane?
I wouldn't say. I mean, it's a pretty big statement to back up, but I think Jeff Wilson's right on top of his game at the moment, and I don't think, you know, maybe you've seen two of the best wingers around in Ben Shune and Jeff Wilson, and they've thrown Joeli Vanderi there as well, so it's going to be a hell of a match-up out wide, yeah.
What about Justin Marshall? Obviously had a layoff through injury. They've been missing his influence at scrum half, haven't they? But do you think he's ready for this one?
I think Justin Marshall wouldn't play unless he was ready. He's a hell of a rugby player, but he's also a good thinker, and I think the All Blacks have missed him in the last two games. That's nothing against Afisa Tanu, but I think Justin Marshall's probably the best halfback in the world at the moment, and the All Blacks have needed the direction around the ruck because, as Bob attested to, they've been struggling around the ruck and defence, and I think Justin Marshall does survey the options around the ruck and defence very well.
Well, let's have a look at the full 15 for the All Blacks today, and you mentioned earlier there about the problems they've had in the midfield. Is that their major concern?
Well, we just talked about Justin and Scott McLeod. They're coming back off long breaks, and you know it's hard to get into this kind of rugby straight away. But I just keep coming back to the tight five. They're under a hell of a lot of pressure, and you've got to see if they can.
Some people are saying they're a bit old.
Yeah,
age
well,
30.
I can't talk. I won't get to the age subject, but yeah, they're under a bit of pressure. But I mean, you've got two, Scott McLeod and Joeli Vanderi, new boys to test match rugby, and you know, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they react to this level of rugby.
And also Australia, well, will be particularly concerned about the reacquaintance of Justin Marshall with Andrew Mehrtens.
Yeah, well, I agree, actually, that Justin Marshall's probably the top scrum half in the world at the moment, out of about 5 good ones, and he's been sorely missed. His leadership has been sorely missed too, as Shane said, so he's very, very important. I think also that the Australian centres will be really trying to find out just how fit the two All Black centres are, and Tim Horan and Daniel Herbert can really hit in pretty hard, so I think that'll be, I think we'll see some bone-crushing one-on-one defence. I don't think there'll be any sliding defence early.
OK, well, we're going to take a short break there, but the build-up to the Tri-Nations lift-off will continue when we come back. The MCG expecting 80,000 through its gates to see Australia resume hostilities with the All Blacks. It should be an interesting few hours ahead. We're back in a moment.
From an explosive beginning comes the league with a tale to tell.
You tell him now, we're still fighting for this title.
A tale of many cities.
United really have rubbed it in City's faces.
Tales of the unexpected and expected.
It's like it every single game.
Tales in the air and where heads must roll. And tales with a twist. From the terraces, through the boot room to the boardroom.
Love it.
Tales from the Premiership. Starts Monday, 6:30 and 10:15, Sky Sports 1.
Happy birthday, James.
One today. You'll be collecting your pension soon.
Have you got one?
Yeah.
Who with?
Standard Life, of course.
Why?
Well, for a start, they've been around since 1825, and they've got over 4 million customers.
So you're good at making important decisions?
We'd like to think so, James.
So what's with these, then?
Athlete's foot can be hard to shake off. That's because there can be 2 bugs to deal with. Unlike most treatments, Dactarin gets both, giving athlete's foot a blast! Dual-acting Dactarin.
We like... we don't like. No one is more dedicated dedicated to keeping you moving than the RAC.
There. Satisfied?
Exceedingly.
New exceedingly good cake bites from Mr. Kipling.
Not everybody's idea of a pet. Hamsters, rabbits, fish. I believe he's partial to all of them. And next door, they used to have a poodle.
There's more live boxing coming up on Tuesday night over on Sky Sports 1 as Jeff McCreesh defends his British welterweight title against Michael Smith. That's live championship boxing Tuesday night from 8 o'clock on Sky Sports 1. Right now, we're counting down the minutes to the start of this year's Tri-Nations, the Melbourne Cricket Ground, staging the opening game with Australia taking on New Zealand. The stadium more often used by the country's cricketers or the Aussie rules players, but it's their rugby union side that's in residence today, and they have a major challenge on their hands in the shape of the All Blacks. Well, this is only the second time that Australia have staged a Tri-Nations Bledisloe Cup game at the MCG. The first occasion was just over a year ago. July the 26th was the day. The Australians showing once again they know how to throw a party. But as is so often the case, the All Blacks were there to spoil it.
Marshall once more. Spencer looks inside. Eremias taken by Horan. Solid tackling early on. Change of direction by Marshall. Now Tane Randall. Beautiful pass to Frank Bunce, and Bunce gets the first try of the game. All Blacks defence has been solid early on. Gregan finds Horan. Away from Bryle. First time he's been mentioned in the match.
And I think he lost the ball also.
Turned it over. Marshall. Now there's a chance for Jeff Wilson. He's the fastest of this lot. Wilson leads the charge, and Wilson scores. Zinzan away from Marshall. Spencer. Easy try for Christian Cullen. It had to happen, and Christian Cullen gets it. They'll take it quickly. Away goes Gregan. Marshall got in to make a big tackle, and the try's given. Little George Gregan took it quickly, and the All Blacks couldn't get to him quickly enough. Desperate defence here from the All Blacks. Gregan looks left and right. The leak from Roth, the try for Little. Jason Little. Zinzan with an Aussie rules kick. Cashmore, and he runs it out, and that is it. And the All Blacks have done it again.
So the New Zealanders once again comfortable winners last year, but yet again that game reiterated how important the tight fives are, aren't they? And if you don't have the platform, you're not going to be able to release, if you're an Australian, their potent backline.
Yeah, I think the Australians have struggled probably in the last 3 years up front, and they get hurt against New Zealand and South Africa. And like you said, with the backline that they've got, you want to try and give them as much ball as possible. And I think you might see the Australians being a bit sly here and trying to make set pieces as quick as possible, maybe shortening them up and just trying to get it out wide, because I think if they might want to try to take the All Blacks on up front, I'm not sure. But
will they?
I'm not too sure about sly. Intelligent would be the word I'd use. But I think it's important to them, but without Sean Fitzpatrick, as we saw on the All Black tour here last year, without Sean Fitzpatrick on the paddock, the tight five struggle a lot, because he is a great leader. He's great. He's a terrific referee. He helped things enormously there.
Says he. There's a hint of a begrudging respect there, wasn't there?
Oh, he's a great player.
Yeah. I mean, just looking back over the last few weeks, how significant have those results against the home nations been to what's going to happen in the next few weeks?
I don't think you can read too much into them, to be honest. I mean, the All Blacks are under huge pressure to put a massive total on the English, like the public expected them to put 80. No, it didn't. And once you put that expectation on a team, it's never going to happen. And I think you saw a much better English performance in the second test. And if their backs had some inventiveness, they might have gone closer than the 40-10, because I think up front they really took it to the All Blacks, hence the reason the All Blacks are under so much fire in the tight five, because they were, on that day, the English were equal, if not better than them.
So despite these record results, the All Blacks not getting the praise perhaps you'd think they would deserve, but Australia 76-0 against England and a convincing 2-0 series win over Scotland. They've got to feel confident, haven't they, at the very least?
I think they'll feel like this is the first time in a couple of years that they're going into the game with a strong chance of winning. I don't think they'll feel necessarily confident. I'd always prefer to play the All Blacks when they've come off two stunning victories, actually, because subconsciously the people relax. But as Shane was saying, they're under a lot of pressure in New Zealand, and they value their spot in the side, and they value their reputation as world leaders, and that makes them a lot tougher to defeat in Melbourne.
Well, over the years, Australia have some ground to make up on New Zealand. They've played a total of 105 games, with Australia having won just 27, New Zealand 73, and they've drawn 5. Now, the odds for today's game, you won't be surprised to hear that New Zealand 5-2 on to win the game. Australia 11-5, the draw at 18-1. So 6 games and 4 years have gone by since Australia last beat the All Blacks. Are they about to break the deadlock again today? We're minutes away from finding out. A collection of some of the best players on the planet will be seeing the Tri-Nations off in style. Kick-off of Australia against New Zealand is
I'd like to have a one-to-one with Sir Frank Whittle, the inventor of the jet engine. I'd ask him if he knew just how commercially successful it would turn out to be.
See, Frank?
And what drove him to keep at it when the government ignored him for 10 years? What kept him going? Most of all, if I could have a one-to-one with Frank Whittle, I'd ask if he thought his success was worth all that struggle.
One-to-one. Our mobile phone service gets business talking.
What is it with you old marrieds? You've been at the oysters.
It's funny you should say that. We did go for oysters the other day. This little place. Never quite got around to that. Must have been the sea air.
Peugeot 306. The drive of your life.
Elliot, man! Isotonic Lucozade sport drinks are designed for top athletes. They get energy to the muscles fast. Tests show they increase their stamina and so improve sport and performance. Lucozade Sport. Dedicated to sport. Every
Everyone knows the old rules of photography.
Oh, that's right, film direct sunlight.
But Kodak Gold Ultra breaks them all.
Using the same film in here.
Kodak Gold Ultra performs brilliantly in almost all conditions.
Too dark!
If this film isn't in your camera, imagine the pictures you'd miss. Kodak Gold Ultra, film for all conditions.
Live from Lord's, the world's top cricket players come together for a special one-day competition. All the great cricketing nations will be represented as the MCC 11 take on the rest of the world in a match unlike any other. A sporting tribute to Diana, Princess of Wales. Next Saturday morning, Sky Sports 1.
No one's beaten the All Blacks in the 2-year history of the Tri-Nations. Australia haven't beaten them since 1994. Invincible? Not this year. That's the view from the Aussie camp, and they've got around 80,000 at the MCG willing them to prove it. Tri-Nations points and the series lead in the 3-match Bledisloe Cup are at stake in Melbourne today as Australia take on New Zealand. We're in the studio with Shane Howarth and Bob Dwyer. That's the scene in Melbourne at the moment, and we haven't actually got the final predictions from our 2 studio guests. Shane, is it going to be a close one?
I think it is. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be closer than it has been in the last couple of years, but I mean, I'm a New Zealander and the All Blacks are going to win, unfortunately. Sorry, Bob.
Are you flying the Australian flag, Bob? Are you going to do the patriotic thing?
Well, I'm going to back the form and also follow a bit of patriotism, I suppose. No, I think Australia have got a strong chance to win, and I think they can win it through the power of their centres against a couple of crocs in the New Zealand team.
But there's no doubt there is a problem, or has been over the years, a problem with self-belief when you face the All Blacks. Is that disappeared today?
I don't think there's been a problem in self-belief. I think there's been a huge amount of respect for the ability of the opposition. And at times a realistic doubt as to whether you can overcome them. But I think Australia's always gone in some games with a fair amount of determination against New Zealand for the last 15 years or so anyway.
And of course, Bob, you'll remember happy days the last time Australia won the Bledisloe Cup series. That was back in 1994 and you were in charge.
I was, in the time before.
So you know what it feels like. And Shane, am I right in saying that you were in that match when they lost the Bledisloe Cup?
Yes, I played in that game. Jeff Wilson and George Gregan in the corner. But yeah, I think the rivalry between New Zealand and Australia is huge. It's similar to England, Scotland, and all the local derbies that you have. And I think if the Australians are going to win, then today is their perfect opportunity to do it. The All Blacks are under a bit of pressure. They're bringing a lot of guys back from injury, and your McLeods, your Marshall, Anton Oliver. Still don't know how good he is as a hooker.
Throwing,
yeah. Plus, as Bob's alluded to, you know, Fitzy's missed so much between those two guys. You just don't realise how big an influence he has on a scrum until you take him out.
And someone so meticulous as John Hart, he'll be deeply concerned about the fact they're not going to win the set-piece possession at the line-out.
Well, I mean, line-outs are 100% yours. Well, they should be now. And
it hasn't been the case,
no, it hasn't. And the All Blacks have lost.
I wouldn't actually only blame Anton for that. I thought some of the jumping and blocking wasn't up to standard in the England game.
Well, there was a couple of times, Bob, in those English tests that he was throwing it down the All Black line. It wasn't just the jumping, he just wasn't throwing it in straight,
yeah.
which just isn't on, really.
He probably thought that's what you had to do after seeing Fitz.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think Anton refs the game as well.
Lomu obviously not back to his best, but Videri I think might offer something extra out wide.
It was great to see him come on in the English test, and I just want to see Joey get the ball early in his hands. Joey can be a devastating player, but if he gets left out in the cold, sometimes he goes a bit missing in games. But I hope they get Joey in early. I mean, you know, you take Jonah Lomu out and everyone says, wow, Jonah's out. But you look at the beast they've put in there in Joey, he's just about a stone lighter, I think, but quicker.
Oh, he's a freak.
But the Aussies are coming out now, and of course they're receiving a rapturous welcome from the home crowd. Bob, have you ever seen a rugby game at the MCG?
I haven't, but just watching, even watching the television, the hair on the back of my neck's tingling. It's a big occasion. Every test match is a big occasion. A Bledisloe Cup is huge, but a Bledisloe Cup in front of 100,000 people is something else.
And just looking at that back row there, I don't think there's much doubt that the All Blacks have the best back row in the world. Can that threesome compete?
South Africa might want to throw their hand in there as well, but I agree with you that that's a few question marks to be answered there as well.
George Gregan, that tackle on Jeff Wilson in '94.
Don't bring it up.
Is that not happy memories for you, though, Shane?
No.
Actually, lifting up Richard Lowe and tipping him over and sitting him on his head in the game was also a fairly big occasion.
OK, so Australia expecting something special today. Can their team deliver, or will the All Blacks show that talk of their demise has been somewhat premature? Let's head off to the MCG and join our commentators Chris Handy, Simon Poidevin and Gordon Bray.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome the Wallabies at 3 weeks preparation up on the Queensland Sunshine Coast here as Robin Brooke in the picture there, vice-captain for the All Blacks tonight. And this is it. This is the chance to reverse the flood of All Black victories since '94. Ian Jones, what experience he adds to that All Black side, but this man, John Eales, the best in the world.
So we'll have the anthems and then the famous New Zealand war cry. The ground a little soft around the outsides, but the curtain raiser featured the Australian Barbarians in Victoria. Handsome win for the Barbarians. Plenty of open play in that game. The cricket pitch area is hard and fast as we look at Josh Crusher Kronfeld, king of the House of Pain in Dunedin, and Jeff Goldie Wilson. Damien Smith, what a call up for him yesterday afternoon, with Jason Little pulling his calf muscle at training. So we await the anthems as the local time has just gone beyond 8 p.m.
Damien Smith could have been playing for his club side East against Newcastle today. Finds himself down here at the MCG in front of a huge crowd. Could be part of an enthralling New Zealand defeat here by the Wallabies. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for the national anthem? God forbid New Zealand will be sung by star of stage and screen, New Zealander Angela Ayres. And Advance Australia Fair will be performed by leading Australian entertainer, Philip Gould.
The Wallabies bunch up. And a very significant move there by the Wallabies They have said we are a 22-man team. 22 players there stood for the anthem. The All Blacks had their 15. There's the reserve benches as New Zealand now prepares for the haka, and some great impact players on both sides. We can't wait for Issa Tolomaka and Willie Opahen-Gawe, two Tongans, to take the field. Well, I think I even spotted a tear rolling down Simon Poitevin's cheek. Very emotional haka there, and a response from the Australians.
You'll see the Australian side now go into a debrief before the game. They just run through a checklist of real requirements to win this game. It's been another part of their preparation. Obviously, they respect the haka immensely, and have given that haka their respect by facing up to it now. They'll talk through the next 80 minutes and what they need to beat this great New Zealand team.
Chris, from your perspective?
From my perspective, Gordon, 10 minutes it took last year to take the wind out of the Wallaby sails. It will be different. Make no mistake, this side is well prepared. There'll be no excuses. None from the Wallabies, none from the All Blacks. They're ready to do it.
And the first scrum, Chris, will be a telling moment in the game, particularly an Australian feed after the problems they had last year against New Zealand.
Both teams focused on that.
Clayton Thomas, 47-year-old school teacher from Neath, former fullback and fly half, and he will be assisted by Andre Watson and Ed Morrison from England. Ed in charge of this match last year. So David Wilson, married at Noosa. Can he celebrate with an overdue Wallaby victory against the old enemy?
Dave Wilson's got one of the hardest assignments on the field, and that's countering Josh Kronfeld, the New Zealand missile.
And a man to watch early on will be Robin Brooke. If he's on fire, the Wallabies have to look out. Mehrtens goes deep to Gregan. The Wallabies go wide, running the ball from inside their quarter. Now Gregan desperately needs support here. Plenty of time. And that's a soaring punt kick to within 9 metres of the halfway line by Matthew Burke.
Well, that's a good confident start from the Wallabies. George Gregan, sound take. Move the balls for a few sets of hands out there, settle the nerves down, and then a nice touch finder from Matthew Burke.
Interesting to see Joelle Zindiri in the line out of two. Kronfeld out. Very, very interesting position for the winger.
Kronfeld standing at fly half. Here comes Little. Charging onto the ball. He's over the advantage line. So good build-up here by New Zealand. Scott McLeod couldn't hold on. He's pummeled. He knocked it on. McLeod lacking match practice, just a little hesitant there.
Well, Scotty McLeod, he's been out most of the year through injury, just back into this New Zealand side.
Okay, Chris, take us through the scrum.
Great contact there, Australia hitting and staying. It's very important that after the hit, the Wallabies keep the pressure on. It's a fabulous hit. Clayton Thomas in the middle there trying to keep these two packs aside, saying move away, let's get into it.
Look at those biceps on Craig Dowd, the 28-year-old. Made his debut against the Lions in 1993, and an early psychological strike for the Aussie scrum.
Good opportunity for John Eales to get this ball to Matthew Burke to belt it down the field, work an Australian line out, and put him well in All Black territory.
Here it is, the hand down there by Craig Dowd, Chris.
He's able to put his elbow on his leg, but as soon as it goes to ground, It is considered a binding penalty and it's dangerous play.
So Australia into New Zealand territory, 37 metres out. Bill Kearns hasn't thrown in to a line out against New Zealand since the Sydney Football Stadium in 1995. Cobain pushed out. And there's the penalty. It will be awarded 15 metres in. And Matthew Burke is coming up for a shot at goal.
Well, we noted this line out. There was a double jump there from the Wallabies. Somewhat fooled the All Blacks.
No score here at the MCG. So this a handy position for Matthew Burke. If successful, he will bring up 300 test points. "15 metres in, 37 metres out. Just a hint of a breeze here, but only very light. Can Burke strike early for the Wallabies? It looks good. Hits the post. Olo Brown recovers. New Zealand out of jail. Mehrtens now with a raking kick across field. Burke is there. Australia follow. Here comes Larkham. He got it. 15 metres out from the All Black goal line. Joe Rock to Gregan. Michael Jones.
No advantage, not forward. Scrum down, yellow ball.
Cheer goes up from the crowd. A little knock on there from the All Blacks. What a great attacking position for the Wallabies.
Craig Dowd pulling out that time.
Wait, come on. Get up, get up. Get up again.
How about the take from Steve Larkham?
On him.
Australian scrum looking solid.
Feet in, scrum off.
And there we get a ruling against George Gregan for not throwing the ball in straight, a free kick. That's a big blow. They go across field, it's a bad kick, beautifully taken by Tune. Off he goes, 10-metre line.
Off black.
Came off New Zealand, Joeli Vindiri to Cullen. Cullen rifles across field. Larkham is there. What a great kick by Christian Cullen. They call him the Paikokariki Express after the local commuter train between Paikokariki and Wellington.
Ben Tune, a good take there, but then got hit by some strong All Black defence, including Michael Jones. Ball went free, and hence the kick by Christian Cullen into the corner here.
Don't they punish you when you make that fatal mistake?
Come on, let's get it in.
Sign of a great team.
Keep in the gap.
So it's 20 metres out. John Eales soaring. Wallabies try to edge ahead here.
Go back foot, go back foot.
Controlling at the back. This is a good maul. It's gone ahead 7. Craig Dowd sliding around. And now Larkham across field. One bounce for Cullen. Here's danger. He steps beautifully. Offloads to Marshall. Charge down Gregan. Kefu's there. Australia back in possession. Larkham again. Herbert to Horan. Over halfway. Randall the tackler. Wallabies looking confident. Here goes Herbert. Chance for Australia. Kefu. Wilson. Joeli Vindiri's come across from the left wing. Wilson did well. 30 metres out. Herbert again in at fly half to Horan. Almost through. Australia still try to control it. Gregan again. Short side to Larkham. They have numbers here. And Kearns put into touch.
Fantastic attack there from the Wallabies. Coming in depth and support. Got a very straight line of defence here from the All Blacks. Larkin throws a long one out to Phil Kearns. Kearns, he just tries to get back into Matthew Burke, but Venderi's in there to stop the play.
Well, Venderi's been in there for 2 big tackles in that last Australian foray. So too Randall and Michael Jones. So Mehrtens now with a big heave upfield. Here's Joe Roth.
Pushing yellows!
And the referee spotting an infringement in the set piece. So a penalty for New Zealand. He said there was no advantage there as Australia was about to regain the ball.
Well, Clayton Thomas has said one thing clearly before the game to both coaches, that he'll be policing the lineouts very, very heavily.
We've had just on 8 minutes, no score. So New Zealand gaining about 8 metres only. Jonah Lomu warming up on the bench.
Hey, get out to the yellows, get out to the yellows!
Exactly on halfway, Anton Oliver. Josh Kronfeld and Kefu, and cleverly taken by Ian Jones. Now the All Blacks get low. Wallaby player goes to ground. Randall is there. Robin Brooke. Good hit there by Cobain. Marshall. Here's Mehrtens. McLeod slipped it away. New Zealand now with little. Burke comes in. Great tackle. Larkin. Stephen Larkin. He's still going. Wilson. But they've gone into touch. Did you see Burke line up his New Zealand opponent to force the turnover?
2 super bits of play. Matthew Burke, the tackling on Walter Little. And this guy, Steve Larkham, he doesn't look as though he's running fast, but he can motor.
Great counter by the Wallabies.
Get on with it, he took it inside the 5.
New Zealand edging up the touchline now. Marshall. Mehrtens from inside his 22. This is a searching kick again. Benchune. Burke with a better angle. Matthew Burke looking very focused. Taking play to within 10 metres of the halfway line. He's been close to the outstanding player on the field so far.
Burke has just lined him up from outside. Little running into space, and we know he's good at it. And then the support came.
Australia at the back. Harry didn't pick up the ball. It should have been picked up. 35 metres out. So untidy work there from the Australian lineup.
Tom Bowman got up high for that ball, went back a bit too far. Richard Harry failed to pull it in. And now the All Blacks with their best attacking position to date.
Just over 10 minutes gone. There's Randall. Kronfeld's with him. New Zealand clean out. Quick ball for Brooke. Got inside Kefu. Marshall again. Joeli Venderi wrapped up. Still the New Zealanders go here. Bit of space for Wilson. Tune. Oh. High tackle there on from Wilson on Tune. Touch judges in.
When you grab the collar, it's above the shoulder, isn't it? And wrenched him down. Good work by the Wallabies. They came up very flat and very quickly in defence, forcing Mehrtens to go high.
Took him down.
Not very professional play there from the ultimate professional, Jeff Wilson.
Well, didn't find too much territory that kick. A lot of feeling between Tune and Wilson. Roth and Venderi. This line-out's working pretty well for the Wallabies.
Gentlemen, at the moment, you two are on each other's shoulder all the time. Let them jump both sides, please.
So nearly 12 minutes elapsed in this first half. Eels, so athletic. Harry drives in low. Here's Kearns. They were waiting. Marshall. Kearns driven back. Regan now. And Larkham. It's a high Gary Owen. And well taken by Cullen. No advantage. Offside play from New Zealand this time. New Zealand looking dangerous that time out wide. Against Josh Kronfeld.
Very interesting penalty, that one from Clayton Thomas. I suppose only he could have seen what happened to Josh Kronfeld being offside. Tom Bowman.
Great gap. Don't
First test against the All Blacks for him. What an experience.
10-metre line, New Zealand territory. Cobain was there. Knocked on there by Ian Jones. The referee didn't see it. Larkham. Straight through. He found a big hole in close. This is Kefu, caught by Randall.
Here it comes, here it comes.
Coming out for Gregan. Horan into fly half. He follows. Good bounce. Knocked on. Those little half chances not going Australia's way. New Zealand with the advantage.
No advantage. Knock forward. You
Not accruing.
Scrum down. Block forward.
Clever play there though by Tim Horan.
Richard Harry looking all sorts of problems back on the 10-metre line.
To worry, this Australian scrum is very focused. Gregan goes wide, and Tim Horan saw the opening, and it was there, a gaping hole. And he got to it, but just couldn't control it. Came off his hands onto his leg.
It was a wicked bounce. Still no score here at the MCG.
There's been a lot of rain in Melbourne over the last week. And that ground, that ball hitting, bouncing all over the place as Dan Crowley warms up.
Well, it looks like a knee problem. Cameron Lillycrap, former Wallaby front rower, is out there. He's also physiotherapist with Greg Craig. Dan Crowley. Will he get his opportunity? First cap back in 1989 against the Lions, but Crowley's not going to get his chance straight away.
Yeah, okay.
Harry soldiers on.
I'll give you as much time as I give them, I promise you. Clock 3. My touch judge tells me your arm is
Here
down.
goes the scrum.
Get it up.
Nearly 15 minutes gone.
Come on, now, practice
It's been an exciting tussle so far.
Crouch. Got it.
Marshall works short side. Mehrtens grubbering up the touchline. Burke comfortably.
Go back, Yellow, go back, Yellow, go back.
Yellow players have to get outside the 10-metre radius. Spectacular take there by Robin Brooke. Marshall again. New Zealand looking to go wide. Little to Wilson. Kicks in behind. Here's Larkham covering superbly. Inside his 22. Up the touchline. A banana kick. Did you like that one?
Cool play there from Steve Larkham. He waited for the ball to roll into the 25. All Black players coming in all directions. Waited, got outside, inside the 25, and now back to halfway.
Richard Harry's hobbling off here. That was a super kick from Larkham, who looks so composed tonight.
Gaps now. Go back 10. Gaps, wait, I'll give you time.
So Dan Crowley
up straight.
gets his chance. Anton Oliver. All taken by Jones. Here's Little charging at the advantage line. Getting in behind the Australians that time. Wallaby slow it up. Vidiri. Wilson was underneath. Or that was Kefu. Kick ahead by Mehrtens. He's Ben Tune. Spots a gap. Brilliant bust by Ben Tune. Wilson is there. 38 metres out. Great opportunity for the Wallabies. Burke. Taken away, though, by Michael Jones. Clever play from him. Wallabies pass, not finding a support player. New Zealand back in possession. They kicked a lot of ball back to the Wallabies. Here's Tune again. So explosive. Joe Robb. Wrestles out of a couple of tackles. Sets up well. Centre field. Gregan now. And Larkham. Putting it down in New Zealand's territory. "10 metres out, not looking good for Harry."
Well, the counter-attack from the Wallabies tonight has been really good stuff. Finding a few New Zealand defensive lapses out there. Just got to keep on hammering away, but the cover coming back from New Zealand when they do break out has been very good.
Quite a concerning knee injury for Richard Harry. He has been replaced.
So the Wallabies not able to spoil. 18 metres out. And a penalty against Australia from a line-out infringement, pulling the man down. So again, it's awarded 15 metres in from the touchline, and New Zealand to relieve pressure.
Now watch here, Robin Brooke. It's really hardly pulling down. A player rolled over by the All Blacks there, and they go over the top of him.
I'll do the same for you, John. No different at all.
Perhaps Tom Bowman was the man penalised. Mehrtens doesn't gain much ground. We're about 15 metres from the halfway.
The fly halves to date. Larkham has had 6 possessions and he's kicked 4 and passed 2.
New Zealand get their line-out ball through Jones. Beautiful pass from Marshall. Here he goes, Cullen. Joe Roff couldn't get him. Bindiri's inside. Gregan's here. What's the bounce? Was it a knock-on? Wilson. The referee said it was lost forward by New Zealand. Blinding pace out wide from Christian Cullen.
Well, you heard it from the referee's mouth. Knocked forward in the rush to regather. What a beautiful move, outflanking the Wallabies. Cullen outside Roth. The ball in front of them, and this pressure piles up on the green and golds.
Wallaby scrum, rock solid.
Behind net, behind net.
Now Matthew Burke. He gets a good purchase on that one and takes play outside the 22. Let off there for the Wallabies.
It's a great sign for Dan Crowley, that solid Wallaby scrum. His first since he's been on the field. Just didn't budge. You've got to protect that ball when you're under pressure.
Well, Mehrtens has had 11 possessions. He's kicked 6 times.
That was your own player. That was your own player.
That's Ian Jones again. Now Marshall. The All Blacks grouped in midfield. Nice decoy. McLeod straight through. The pass looked suspicious. Here's Little and Kronfeld. 5 metres out. Australia hold on here. Referee's playing advantage. McLeod got through. There's the inside pass to Kronfeld. And the referee's going to pull it back for the infringement by Australia. So close again. New Zealand have gone up a cog.
Well, a huge bust from Scott McLeod set this play up. Referee stopped play going forward because there had been a forward pass, but prior to that, the Australian side had given away a penalty and he's playing advantage. Now Mehrtens with an easy shot.
Well, a worrying sign there for Australia with McLeod busting straight through in midfield. Should have been put down. Wallabies almost paying the ultimate penalty. Andrew Mehrtens. 387 test points. 92 of those against Australia. First points in the test match to the All Blacks. New Zealand 3, Australia 0. And Australia could easily have found themselves 7 points down. But Christian Cullen showing why he is such a lethal attacking weapon in any sort of space. Australia go deep. Taken away by Jones. Excellent play from him. 37 metres out. They go wide again. They're going to try and stretch Australia. They do. Mehrtens. It opens up now for Wilson. Wilson, look at him go! Here's Jarrah. Again, sensational attack from the All Blacks as they spread it wide and found Australia wanting.
Oh, super play here from the All Blacks. Really moving that ball wide and found some room. Look at him go. Mehrtens, deceptive pace, slips through. Wilson sensibly kicks ahead. Race for the ball. Tight. And Jarrah there to clean up the pieces.
So it's 3-0 in favour of New Zealand, and the line out to form. So the crowd urging the Blacks on. New Zealand win the line-out ball, they drive ahead. So close here, there's Anton Oliver. Josh Kronfeld, they're over. It's a try. They've splintered the Australian forward pack. Mighty forward effort there by the All Blacks.
Well, that was a well-constructed try by New Zealand. Excellent line-out control. Watch him go up. Jones provided the decoy, goes to Robin Brooke. Anton Oliver gets in there, raises a good opportunity here for Kronfeld. Kronfeld just legs pumping, gets through, and Clayton Thomas gets around to see the try.
Wonderful depth from the All Black forwards as Robin Brooke brings it down. Look at the depth, and then great thinking from the young Oliver. As it looked like going into touch, he turned it back inside, opening a passageway for Josh Kronfeld.
Well, a huge psychological blow there for the All Blacks. As Mehrtens attempts his conversion, it's close, but out to the right-hand side.
The conversion attempt was unsuccessful. New Zealand 8, Australia.
So New Zealand away to a handsome early lead by 8-0.
The Wallabies need to stay composed. They have played pretty well so far this game. Really haven't converted their opportunities. New Zealand have.
Aussie forwards up underneath and taken away by Australia. That was John Eales that time. Pass wasn't good to Larkham. Back into Herbert. The static ball for the Wallaby backs. Here's Gregan. Again working with Larkham. Horan into a wall of black jerseys. Kronfeld sweating on the offside line. Kefu manages to wrench his body to ground. Australia weighed in now through Gregan.
Stay there, stay there, stay there.
David Wilson goes in.
Going back, going back.
Larkham. Well, that one's easily coming down near the 22. Joeli Vindiri got it back to Little. Good skills from Horan. He's going to have a sprint here. He ran hard. Centre field, 35 metres out from the All Black goal line. Playing the ball off their feet, they've been penalised another 10 metres. That helps the cause for Matthew Burke.
It's a very handy 10 metres. Tane Randell and Kronfeld in on that tackle.
Yes. And you'd have to feel that they were a little bit hardly done by there. Tim Horan took it forward. Should have released.
But the players who were going to the ball, the referee says, weren't on their feet.
Well, you have a look at it when Horan goes forward, Kronfeld's on his feet. There's no way that he wasn't on his feet at that stage trying to get it free.
He penalises Tane Randell for being on the ground there, then trying to feed the ball back. Good tackle by Craig Dowd initially.
So Matthew Burke hit the post with his first kick. This will close the gap to 5. No mistake, and Australia finally on the scoreboard. That's a reward for their early pressure in the opening quarter.
apart from the counter-attack, the Wallabies so far really haven't had the confidence to move the ball wide to their very good back three, Burke, Broth and Tune. Doing a lot of pounding in close.
So Andrew Mehrtens, the outstanding player in Super 12. Burke comes in and owns it. Here's Kepu. Wallabies set it up on the 22. Here's Larkham. Hasn't got the touch. Randall. They want to go out to the centre of the field. This is Cullen. Wasn't a good pass. Mehrtens cleans up well. Matthew Burke. Doesn't want it to go out on the full. This is Mehrtens inside his quarter, looking to link up with Randall. Again, first bounce job. Here's Joeli. He steps. Upended by Tune. And that is how to tackle your opponents. The crowd loved that.
Well,
Nathan Gray, Chris Whittaker on the bench for Australia.
Ben Tune initially beaten one-on-one, but good cover behind him. Herded Vindiri back into his tackle.
Made sure that Vindiri couldn't go outside him. When he was pushed out, he picked him up and drove him into the deck. Followed on and buried Mehrtens. This is good stuff, right in front of the Wallaby bench.
Great jump by Eales. Crowley's there and Kearns again. Wallaby set up. Inside New Zealand's half. Here's Larkham. Again, static ball. Burke attacks. Rock. Good supports. Great work from Tune, who came across. Wallabies looking dangerous here. Here's Roth again, getting involved. Australia drive over. 15 metres out. Larkham now. He hesitated. Australia still protect the ball. Again, it's slowed down. It's Kearns in close. Well read by Craig Dowd. Daniel Herbert's a battering ram. Now they're making meters. Here's a chance. Matthew Burke. Straight through the middle. The Wallabies draw level.
Well, if you keep on pounding away at the brick wall, eventually something's going to give. And this time, through consistent ball handling from the Wallabies, we see Matthew Burke get through here. Tommy Bowman provided a bit of guidance there, although Brown unable to get to him.
Well, England showed that the All Blacks were vulnerable in behind that ruck. And Australia had the patience and finally got the most unlikely person through the gap, Matthew Burke.
Well, he said he was going to get involved tonight. He's certainly done that in attack and defence. He scored all of Australia's 8 points, and he's now up to 307 in Test rugby, second only to Michael Liner. This one to put Australia in the lead. He's happy, so is the crowd. They are so focused here. 10-8 Australia.
Well, a lot of self-belief in that Wallaby try.
We're back with Andrew Mehrtens and the restart. That kick's gone a bit too deep. Here's Larkham. Plenty of time there. It wasn't a great kick. Larkham's came off the side of his boot, but it still gains 30 metres. Well, that will give the home team a lot of confidence.
Scaps. Don't regret.
Anton Oliver looking for Jones. Quick ball off the top. Here they go now. McLeod's in. See the way he offloaded when tackled on the ground. And a little mistake there by New Zealand. We're closing on half-time. Australia with a 2-point lead.
Yeah, that's a very flat pass from Marshall out of that line out. David Wilson can get up there, he'll get it.
Andrew Blades, the pillar at tight head. Kefu hesitated. Back for Gregan, hand coming through. Here's Larkham. Beautifully weighted kick. Here's Joeli. He got a nasty bounce.
Well, this is something they've worked on since Svendiri's been named in the side. He's a fantastic player, but the ball behind him, a little shaky.
AAPT track cam. And Australia back on attack. 38 metres out. Eels comfortably. Fowley's there. And a lack of cohesion. Kearns was the man coming through there, Chris.
Too much haste, yes, Gordon. He just tried that transfer right at the last minute, but he went without it.
They're really working on this line out, back the line out, trying to skip through a very dynamic All Black defence. So they need to have the precision there in the passes.
Well, they're trying also, I think, to commit the All Black back rowers off the back of the line out. They get out very quickly to midfield. Here's Joeli. Almost picked up. The Australians have got it. And then lost again through a knock-on. So New Zealand now, can they hit back? This is McLeod. Lovely loop to Little. Cullen, nowhere to go. Horan got him, so did Roth. Kronfeld is there. Josh Kronfeld, wrestled to ground. And the strength there of Big Joe Roth, assisted by John Eales.
That's the defining moment, when you drive back an opponent with the ball in the tackle and you get the put into the scrum. That's the telling part of it. These turnovers are hard to come by.
Come on, you're in a crouch position. I see engage and you get it.
Lovely solid
Let's go in,
scrum.
please.
Bowman and Eales providing the real grunt from behind.
Mark is there.
Andrew Blades immovable here at tight head.
Dowd with his hand on the ground again.
Don't put it in. Don't. Hey, come on,
Just
let's
not
set this.
looking very comfortable that time on the engagements.
Crouch. Crouch.
Australia scrum. Again, looking very solid. Kefu charges ahead. Gregan now. There's the battering ram. Joe Roth. Gregan does well. Kearns. Up to the 22. Marshall tries to stop it. Here's Larkham. Herbert. Straight through. Daniel Herbert. It's another one to Burke. He's got all the points, and the Aussie bench is ecstatic, as is the home crowd. Daniel Herbert busted, and Matthew Burke on the spot again.
Great skills all around here from the Wallabies. George Gregan putting his runners through the gaps here. And Daniel Herbert, what a season he's having. Scott McLeod looked pedestrian there. And Matthew Burke, the juggling act. What a beautiful try.
Found out defensively, the All Blacks there. Great break by Herbert. Got the pass to Burke on the track cam. Look at it going with it. Track cam, you guilty.
Yes, well, Walter Little and Scott McLeod. Exposed here by Herbert. And he took the gap beautifully. Burke juggled and finished off. Look at Tune's salutes. So 15 points in a row by the Wallabies after trailing 8-0. Matthew Burke from touch has hooked it. So it's just a converted try, the difference, as we converge on half-time.
Oh, what an important 5 minutes we've got ahead of us here now. Critical time. These are when the easy points sometimes sink teams.
Well, this is when the All Blacks go up 2 notches in this critical period before half-time. Well-weighted kick taken by Eales. Gregan again. He's snapping up that loose ball tonight. And Burke with another fine clearing kick under pressure.
It was excellent work there from George Gregan. Not an easy ball coming at him. He got it, found his his kicker. And now Anton Oliver is Australia dominating those rucks and mauls.
Well taken by Randall. 10-metre line. Marshall goes in. Here's Oliver having a go. Now New Zealand wants some possession and some continuity to put pressure on the Aussie defence. McLeod. He's dumped on the 10-metre line. Marshall goes in. Here's Cullen. That's Mehrtens. Taken by Eels. Kearns. New Zealand threw it away. 10-metre line. Gregan again. Herbert. Horan. Burke's in the line. Bowman. Big Tom Bowman out on the wing. Manages to stay in field. New Zealand holding on at the moment.
It's going to be there. It's in the RF.
And there's some silly play by Australia. They came in on the side. It might have been Joe Roth. You have to join the ruck from behind the last feet. And the turnover forced.
We'll watch him go here as the track cam goes. Tom Bowman. Excellent defence coming across there from Christian Cullen, hitting the big second rower. Taking him to ground now. The ball goes to ground here. Watch the hand come through. And Joe Roth there, offside, picked up by the referee.
Here's Brooke. Now Mehrtens again. McLeod steaming ahead. Just caught there by Stephen Larkham. 3-on-3. Wilson's out there. Roth comes again. Chance for New Zealand here. There's a few forwards out in midfield. Kronfeld. Big hit by Cobain. That was a monster. Can New Zealand get it back? They're still 15 from halfway. It's been slowed up by the Wallabies. They're looking for Cullen. Here's Mehrtens. He wants Wilson. Gregan in front. He's just caught. And there's the try to Jones. Ian Jones gets his 9th Test try. And how many times have we seen it from this great All Black team in the closing minutes before half-time?
Well, George Gregan destroyed Jeff Wilson's dreams in 1994. This time, Wilson gets past him. Again, Mehrtens providing the break. Well, watch it go. Now, Gregan comes across here, and Wilson gets past him. Across comes the last line of defence, which is tuned. But fantastic work from Ian Jones to get there to score the try.
What a great break from the horse whisperer, this quiet assassin, as he just glides through the gap. Trying to stop Wilson man on man is a difficult one. Gregan knew that he had more pace than he did and had tried to go wide, but Jones not just in the side for his jumping.
So the Wallabies relax for a moment and they've been punished. Less than a minute now from half-time. Mehrtens here to level the scores if successful. Just across the face of goal, Wallabies cling to a 2-point lead. But New Zealand getting their second try. It's 2 tries apiece. Matthew Burke has scored all 15 points for the Wallabies.
Well, Ian Jones makes a habit of scoring that sort of try. I've seen him many times over the last few years in Super 12 and Test matches doing it.
Well, this ground is hard and fast tonight. We've seen a real spectacle and a contest too. New Zealand cough it up. Kearns went in for it. Here's Gregan and Larkham. He's gone high for Cullen. Plenty of time here for Cullen. And he gets the mark. He thought about a quick counter. He does. Mehrtens now. McLeod. This is great play from New Zealand. Wilson. They're going to keep it alive. Kronfeld and Wilson. They've got to be careful. Eels. Back it goes. No one at home for Australia. Well, what a let-off. Here's Larkham and Burke. No risks. The hoot has gone for half-time. And finally into touch inside the quarter. A titanic struggle here at the MCG. The Bledisloe Cup match finally balanced. 2 tries each. The Wallabies leading by 15 to 13.
So a truly competitive and pulsating first half in Melbourne. But it was the All Blacks who scored the first try, not the flair of their backs, the graft of their forwards. Josh Kronfeld crossing the line, the All Blacks ahead, 8 points to 0. But Matt Burke and Australia weren't done. That was his first try. He scored all 15 points in the first half. There was another one to come. This the second. The self-belief in the Australian camp, truly, they were beginning to believe. But Ian Jones ensured the All Blacks are back in contention, 15-13 the half-time score. We'll get the thoughts of Bob and Shane after the break.
Such a brave gladiatorial effort is beaten.
We would like to invite each of you.
What about?
Come and go with us. And perhaps
are you watching?
That you've never seen before.
Are you watching?
If you only get to see one fight this year, make sure it's this one.
Are you watching Eubank's final stand?
One of the most evenly matched contests of the decade. Carl Thompson and Chris Eubank go head-to-head again.
Are you watching?
The rematch next Saturday, Sky Sports 1.
Long after the fans and players have gone home, the 4 billion TV watchers have switched off, and all the others have taken their billboards down, one company will still be there, pushing to make a ball that goes even faster. Boots that make players even more powerful. Because to us, each World Cup is a signpost, not a destination.
For some people, the path to buying a new car is full of uncertainties. But now we're introducing a simpler way to buy a new Ford. Simpler to choose the model you really want. Simpler to take it for a test drive. Simple, straightforward pricing. And a range of simple ways to pay. Experience simplicity. Call 0800 64 64 64 to connect with Ford.
A double-header of live American golf coming up over on Sky Sports 2 tonight. At 6 o'clock, it's day 3 of the US Senior Players Championship. And that's followed at 7:30 by the third day of the Quad City Classic. That's live golf coming up tonight from 6 o'clock over on Sky Sports 2. But right now, we've just seen the first 40 minutes of this year's Tri-Nations opening game between Australia and the All Blacks. And it's been pulsating stuff, with Australia leading the New Zealand by 15 points to 13, 2 tries apiece. Burke with both of the Aussie scores, Josh Kronfeld and Ian Jones with the All Black tries. Well, you can't have failed to enjoy that first half over there in Melbourne. Shane Howarth and Bob Dwyer here in the studio. And Shane, are we seeing the All Black aura of invincibility being shattered there?
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see that. We've still got 40 minutes to go. But I think, you know, the Australians have done well. They started off 15 minutes in the All Black half and came away with nothing, and the All Blacks scored 8 points, and you sort of thought, well, you know, they've spent time there, they haven't done anything, but they've done very, very well to come back. And Matt Burke's right on top of his game, 2 very good tries.
And Bob, the Wallabies did very well because obviously they conceded that first try. Mehrtens yet again leading that back line so expertly, didn't he?
Well, I'd say the big surprise for me is a couple of great passes by Scott McLeod. That's one of them to Andrew Mehrtens to give him the break. And Jeff Wilson, as we said earlier, right on top of his game. And New Zealand were a little unlucky not to score here. The freak Christian Cullen just diving for the ball, but not finishing up in his hands.
But they did score from the resulting lineup.
Fantastic work here by Josh Kronfeld. It looks like it might be going into touch here, but Anton Oliver wheels it back in, and then Kronfeld adds his considerable power, to say the least, to the drive.
But Shane, I mean, we're watching this. This is the graft of the All Blacks forwards, but it's well worked as well. There's a bit of flair in the line, isn't there? Mixing it around, they're keeping them guessing.
Yeah, we're talking about Anton with his throwing. He's been right on top of his game today with his throwing. You see Matt Burke, like...
Well, they needed to strike back, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't think Matt Burke's going to let the forwards forget that he scored a try up the middle later on, but you don't... You know, England exposed the All Blacks a couple of times there, and Australia are doing it tonight by going through the middle, but this is, if you ever want to orchestrate a try and show a team how a try is scored, watch this passage of play. I mean,
this is pre-planned, most of it. I don't think Phil Kearns was supposed to get the ball, but it came badly for George Gregan, but all of the rest of the play is pre-planned. Timmy Horan, a dummy runner, takes Walt a little mind off the defence out wide. Should have been scored a little easier. Matt Burke should have caught the ball more cleanly, but
he just wanted to make more fun. But I mean, Daniel Herbert's causing the All Blacks a lot of trouble. I mean, you know, maybe Scott McLeod's not up there fitness-wise, and it's been shown out wide. You know, he's been stripped, and it's just been a bit of Mehrtens magic that's got them back into the game, and that's a fantastic break around.
Well, only a fool would count them out, wouldn't they?
No, that's right. And Jeff Wilson, I guess, probably had a little wee smile to say to George Gregan on the way past. There you go for 94, but that's great covering from a lot forward to get there. With Jeff Wilson running at pace, Ian Jones somehow has run an amazing line to get on the outside of Jeff Wilson and show enough pace to beat Joe Roth into the corner, and it's a fantastic.
And we're all thinking Ian Jones might be on his last legs, but the athleticism of the guy comes through there.
He's making a few people need a few words there.
Yeah.
Well, Australia haven't beaten New Zealand since 1994. Is 98 to be their year? We'll have the second half after a short break.
Just bring your own round. Yeah. Okay. Don't go till I'm ready.
These stairs are a nightmare.
I tell you, I just hope this goes in your van.
Easy. How's that motor of yours?
Oh, I got rid of that one. I've just got a new Golf.
Yeah? How much does that set you back?
I'll tell you later.
Happy birthday, James.
One today. You'll be collecting your pension soon.
Have you got one?
Yeah.
Who with?
Standard Life, of course.
Why?
Well, for a start, they've been around since 1825, and they've got over 4 million customers.
So you're good at making important decisions?
We like to think so, James.
So what's with these, then?
To eat a whole Victoria sponge all to myself.
Oh, very clever.
Exceedingly.
Exceedingly good mini classics from Mr. Kipling.
Slight leading in the most open championship in years, but there's a long way to go. Carl Fogarty is one of a posse of riders hot on his trail. Next stop, the USA. The World Superbike Championship continues Sunday night from 7, live on Sky Sports 1.
There's some great live cricket action coming up for you here on Sky Sports. Over on Sky Sports 1, as we speak, it's the B&H Cup final between Essex and Leicestershire. Ball-by-ball coverage of the last B&H Cup final over on Sky Sports 1 now. And then a week today from 11 is the Diana, Princess of Wales memorial match with the MCC taking on a Rest of the World 11. That's live cricket today and next Saturday over on Sky Sports 1. But it's rugby union and two of the world's best sides fronting up to each other here on Sky Sports 3 right now. In the Tri-Nations Open at the MCG, it's Australia who lead the All Blacks by 15 points to 13. 40 minutes, the next 40 minutes should keep us interested. Well, we're in the company of Shane Howarth and Bob Dwyer. Shane, what do the All Blacks have to do to start reasserting their authority in this game?
Well, I think they were pretty much down and out at 15-8, and as I've said, Andrew Mehrtens' bit of magic has brought them back in. So I guess going into the break, the Blacks have got the momentum, but you know, I think there's parity up front at the moment. The Australians are holding the All Black forward pack, And out wide, Daniel Herbert's exposing us, and I think John Hart's going to be saying to Walter Little and Scott McLeod, look, tighten the defence up because we've been split 2 or 3 times out there. Make sure that you secure Herbert, because if you don't, you're going to get torn apart.
What will Rob McQueen have said to the Australian camp?
I think he'd have said, look, we can't finish up with our slower forwards lining up against quicker New Zealand midfield players, and we've got to adjust that defence much more quickly, which is where Australia were exposed when Mehrtens made that last break. You've got to have quick guys lining up against quick guys.
You did feel there, didn't you, that the All Blacks were just hanging on. There was a period there just before half-time, before they scored that second try, where they were just hanging on.
Yeah, that's what happens, though, isn't it? What you need to do is strike immediately. As soon as you're down, you need to strike back immediately. Australia did it earlier in the game, and then New Zealand did it there just before half-time.
So both sides will have to show their mettle in this second half. And let's head back down under and to the MCG and rejoin our commentators, Chris Handy, Simon Poidevin and Gordon Bray.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's game will be watched by
So a massive television audience, and the stage is set for a magnificent second half. It has been a showpiece this year. Wallabies lead 15-13 at the break.
Interesting stats in the first half. Australia with 58% of possession, and territory 53%. So really, at times they've had opportunities down there. They didn't nail it. The All Blacks have virtually nailed every opportunity. Kept in touch.
Here we go. Can Australia end New Zealand's winning run of 7? Andrew Blades wades into the forward pack. Good start to the second half here by the men in gold. Well, they went across field there. Gregan and Larkham. Herberts. He got away from Little. Tune wants it. He was calling for it. But Daniel Herbert not able to link up that time.
Tried to drop it onto his boot, didn't he? And push it through the gap as they play on quickly.
So New Zealand clever in this situation. Mehrtens. And that's a fine clearing kick from Andrew Mehrtens. So Australia applying the heat, and Walter Little again having a bit of trouble in his midfield defence.
Well, Mehrtens has been outstanding in this game. The first half he had 25 possessions, he passed 17, made 2 very good runs, really leading to the All Black tries.
grip.
There's Phil Kern setting things up. Wallabies mauling it to the right.
Go back, go back, go back.
Coming back here for Eels, and Blades now. Kearns is hurt there.
Still moving. Get it out, George.
Now they have to get it back. Regan goes in. Larkham. Tune. That's a fine tackle. New Zealand come away. Clever work to Mehrtens again. Regan back in cover. Cullen was there. Here's Horan. Cullen chases. Now the Wallabies have to secure this ball. New Zealand look as though they may have turned it. Vital turnover here. Little. Mehrtens. McLeod. Wrapped up by Rob. Knock on by Rob. Referee plays advantage.
That's good desperate defence from the Wallabies. And a good turnover there from New Zealand. I think Tim Horan did the right thing running then, but just got overwhelmed by All Black players.
Terrific covering from Christian Cullen to haul him down.
Australia running into a slight breeze in this second half.
Scrum down, black ball. Wait for the instruction. Wait. Crouch, Allen.
Well, the Wallabies haven't taken all of their chances. Let's see if New Zealand does here. McLeod as a decoy. Little. Just caught by Larkham. Marshall now. Will flick past there to Michael Jones. Just out from the corner. It's Robin Brooke.
Back foot. Back foot.
Centre field. Here's Mehrtens again. Anton Oliver. Well tackled by Eels. Wallabies under pressure. Little. Bowman misses the tackle. Walter Little straight through. Australia looks to be in trouble here. There's an overlap. Mehrtens. Wilson. Kronfeld couldn't get the pass out. Wallabies desperately hold on. Bowman with a big hit. Joeli Vindiri comes in. Australia try to slow it down, and there's the penalty.
Killing the ball.
Well, they've given the penalty away, but what sensational defence. They were gone on the blind side. They got themselves reorganised here. Mehrtens tried to scramble through. Rock does well here. And looks like Burke in on there on Kronfeld. That's where they stopped him.
David Wilson is down for attention. He hurt his shoulder. Chris, you had a good vantage point.
It was scrambling defence by the Wallabies, but I'm just not quite sure about this penalty. I'm still struggling.
So Wilson is up, ready to resume. But this kick will put the All Blacks back in the lead. Andrew Mehrtens, 25-year-old from the Canterbury Crusaders, winners of this year's Super 12 Championship. Second only behind Grant Fox as New Zealand's test point scorer. And you wouldn't believe it, he's pushed it out to the right-hand side.
I would believe it, and I love it. Just get those 3 points out.
1 from 4 for Andrew Mehrtens.
Well, early Matthew Burke's penalty bounced off the post, and then that one shaved it on the outside though, just the wrong side.
It's a wobbly kick, a nasty one over Marshall's head. Randall very sure. Mehrtens to McLeod. Wallaby defence up quickly. They'd love to turn McLeod here. Out it comes. He was turned in the tackle, said the referee. So Australia with a penalty on halfway.
Such a strong player, Scott McLeod. Tried to get the hands up to get the ball free. Watch him. He goes again now. Watch the ball go again. You see it pinned on this side, and suddenly Zappo, it appears, on the other side of the ruck.
15-13 to Australia. So David Wilson with some excellent defensive work that time to turn Scott McLeod. And it looks as though Willie Ofahengawe is set to take the field.
Yes, okay. Yeah, okay.
Tore Kefo is off, and Willie Ofahengawe replacing his countryman, the Tongan Torpedo, who has won 4 of his last 6 test matches against New Zealand, is on the field for Australia.
Well, Tatai Kefu did a very good job at number 8 in the first half. Much better off the back of the scrum than he has been the whole season, as this is a splay of New Zealanders. Mehrtens heading off with the blood bin. Phil Kearns headed off with a damaged hand. 2 very experienced players gone as Burke lines up about 50 metres out.
What a moment, Chris, for Jeremy Paul.
It is in 22 jersey. Gordon, the Melbourne Cricket Ground.
And here is Matthew Burke. He's got the distance. Massive kick from Burke. 18 points to Australia. 18 points to Matthew Burke.
Look at this off the boot beautifully, and you can hear the crowd willing it from the grandstand. Go, you good thing.
So Jeremy Paul from Nauru, Hawaii, just out of Hamilton, on the way to Auckland on Highway 1. Back now with Larkham. Big torpedo kick down towards the 22. Scott McLeod works it to Spencer, who's on the field. The tricky customer. Herbert got him. Little knock on by New Zealand, by Walter Little. And you'd have to say that Walter Little just has been short of that cutting edge tonight, having come back and been under an injury cloud all week.
He's up against some pretty good defence out there. Carlos Spencer This guy is smart. In comes
Here goes
Herbert with a
Willio.
good hit.
Big charge by Offahengawe. Bowman! What a run by him. Wallabies now looking dangerous. Up towards the 22. They're protecting the ball. Here's Larkham. He rubs his hands together. Herberts. He's done it all night. He busts the first line. 25 out. Gregan in. Herbert's gone to the left. Here comes Larkham. Probing. Wilson there quickly. Gregan again. He goes himself. New Zealand come away. Kronfeld. So the option not a good one. Here they go. McLeod knocks on. Australia looking for a counter.
No advantage. Scrum down, yellow
I tell you what, Tim Horan looked at the referee. Got held back then. That ball was loose. It was dirty. A lot of the Australians in the crowd were dirty as well.
Well, a young man came on against the All Blacks in 1989 by the name of Phil Kearns. Another baby, Jeremy Paul, is on the field. And there's Willio again, getting in behind New Zealand. Tune! Cullen in the last line. Cobain there quickly. Gregan wants it. All Blacks defending grimly here. Herbert out wide. He got away from Cullen. Out in front of the goalposts. Grand opportunity here for the Wallabies. New Zealand come through.
No advantage. First knock on by yellow. Scrum down black.
Well, you saw Robin Brooke come through and spoil that ball. It was there for Australia, but they were too relaxed about it, and that has saved a desperate situation.
Watch Ben Tune here. How hard does this guy run? But good tackle there from Christian Cullen with a bit of help from Water Little.
Square to the touchline. Can you get out and I'll tell you what.
18-13 to Australia.
Down back row.
Dan Crowley on in his 21st Test match. Charge down. Wilson. Great work by Larkham.
Well, we talk about the All Blacks stepping up a cog. The Wallabies have certainly stepped up a cog in the last 5 minutes. Jeremy Paul ready to throw the ball in there. Larkham scrambling as Wilson scrambles it across the line, out of danger. Jeremy Paul, how good will his throws be?
Jeremy Paul. Amari. Great throw to Eales. Crowley was there. Crowley still has it. New Zealand regroup. Have they been able to hold this one up? Robin Brooks in there offside. The Wallabies move it ahead. Here it comes now for Gregan. Referee wants it. It goes to ground. 5 metres out. Gregan! Paul! 4 metres to go. They've lost it again, have they? No! Still holding on. But it travelled forwards. So the Wallabies just lacking a little bit of composure.
That pass from George Gregan was a better opportunity on the outside, but still Jeremy Paul almost got there. Willie Ayres making a big impact.
Don't put it in. Don't put it in square. Left. Okay.
Wallaby scrum. Nice and low. Marshall kicking from inside his 22. Gaining about 17 or 18 metres. But it's still inside New Zealand's quarter. Well, this is a defining moment in the game here. If the All Blacks can hang on and not concede a try, they must give themselves a big chance of coming away with this match. Another good throw. Cobain this time. Willio drives in low. Taking it down against New Zealand.
Got to say it's a good call from the referee. The player on the ground pulling down. Australia were driving forward over the top. I think you'll find it's Robin Brooke if you have a look.
So the score here is 18-13 in favour of the Wallabies. Well, Matthew Burke, who has kicked 3 from 5, lining up 15 metres in from the touchline. Matthew Burke then, if successful here, will break his own Australian point scoring record against the All Blacks. 20 is the highest ever scored by an Australian. Burke can take his personal tally to 21 here and increase the lead to 8. The crowd likes it. New Australian record against New Zealand by Matthew Burke, who's made the MCG his own stage tonight in front of this vast crowd.
Just over 26 minutes to go. What a game. The All Blacks will come back from this.
So Spencer goes deep. Jeremy Paul, oh, that was very ordinary play from the Australians. Gregan was going to take it.
No advantage on the touchline. Black knock on in 5.
Oh, black knock on. Andre Watson there, nodding his head to Clayton Thomas.
So although Australia knocked it on initially, but the referee adjudging the advantage occurred to New Zealand, and they knocked it on 5 metres further up. So a territorial advantage accruing. Gregan then. Stephen Larkham. He won't be happy with that one. That's put his side under pressure. 18 metres out from the Wallaby goal line. New Zealand to wind up here.
Out of the gap, out of the gap.
Oliver going quickly. Michael Jones, loose. Australia have it.
He was driving into the yellows. Penalty, yes, indeed.
So obstruction there by the Wallabies. This is a penalty.
Man in the air's got to be left alone to jump, and referee watching those line-outs saying Australia came across that line and were driving into the ball carrier.
Carlos Spencer with the kick for goal here with Mehrtens off. He's a very handy kicker. Did a sensational job for the Auckland side during the Super 12 this year.
Well, this has been one of the best Australia-New Zealand test matches in recent memory. It's been all black, really, since Australia won the Bledisloe Cup in 1994, but the Wallabies were up 22-9 in 96 at Suncorp. Couldn't see it through. Now Carlos Spencer to close the gap to just 5.
The awesome side of Jonah Lamu warming up on the sidelines here is a bit of a worry.
So Spencer. The nerves will be there. He is a brilliant goal kicker. And the nerves had the final say. He made it look so easy in Super 12, but New Zealand's goal-kicking woes continue.
I'll tell you a lot more Aussies here this year than last year. There would have been a lot more New Zealanders doing that last year.
New Zealand had kicked 1 from 5. Australia 4 from 6. That's the difference. Little. Oh, a knock on there. The referee said no. It was certainly coming off the hand of the Kiwi. Australia pilfer. Gregan. Willie-O. He got away from Dowd. Australia straight through the middle here. New Zealand in trouble. But I think they ran into their own man. Well, just these little mistakes by Australia in possession when they have New Zealand under the hammer and letting the All Blacks off the hook.
Tragic stuff. Look at that ruck and maul count. Dan Crowley's done a great job since coming on for Richard Harry.
I think that desperation on the ground, firstly Willie-O, then Wilson trying to promote the ball each time it goes to ground, pick up and drive a few metres further on, making the All Blacks come around again to defend.
Chris, the All Blacks very lucky there because the Australians wheeled the scrum and it came out their side. It looked as though it was going to be a tight head.
Yeah, it did. We wait on with bated breath for a tight head, but it could come. This Wallaby scrum is just so solid.
Anton Oliver with a bit of a foot injury. Here goes Spencer. McLeod now in the gap. Horan got him from behind. Great play by New Zealand. Look at the support, Randall. That's Ian Jones. They still have it. Cullen just held up. Australia was offside. Referee plays advantage. Oliver and Wilson. Rock won't let him go. So back for the penalty. This one out in front. Spencer will get another chance.
There was no advantage because there was a forward pass over there, lads. Shot.
Well, Tim Horan, a mile offside then. It looked like Jeff Wilson and Ben Tune into it again.
Well, the Wallabies just have let themselves down in this situation, 21-13. Yes, they've had New Zealand under the blowtorch, but little errors that have creeped in have taken the pressure off. And the bad news for Australia is that Isatolo Maka and Jonah Lomu are set to take the field. Surely Spencer will slot this one from out in front. The flags are raised. So there's 5 points in it. Just one try. Australia 21, New Zealand 16.
Yeah, New Zealand have got the howitzers on the sideline. Maka, Lomu, ready to roll them on.
Phil Kearns has gone back on for the Wallabies.
What a frightening sight for the opposition. The two Tongans, Jonah Lomu and Isatolo Maka. Australia compete well. New Zealand, though, control it now. Marshall looking for it.
Back foot.
Willie O standing on the short side. Joeli Vindiri. Rock got him. Aussies try to turn him but can't. Here's Little. Walter Little probing in close at the Australians. New Zealand back row there in numbers. Loose ball. Marshall not put on the ground. Here's Cullen. He lost it ahead.
Initial dive in. Kick back.
So initial dive in, I think, from the previous ruck by Australia. And Justin Marshall hurt.
Oh, we got a replacement. Yes.
Here he is, the big man, the big Jonah, coming on for Joeli Vindiri. 16 replaces 11.
Big Jonah, will he be pumped tonight? Joeli Vindiri. Well, the headline on New Zealand Rugby News was that he is all black inside, and the Iceman is leaving the field, Michael Jones.
That will bring Isatolo Maka onto the field as well.
No touch for New Zealand. Here's Larkham. And here is Cullen. Wallaby chasers will need to be up there this time. Now Marshall again. Sensible kick. Putting it back inside Australia's quarter. Burke. And finally Sanity, as we're back on halfway. Players are tired. We're halfway through the second term. And two big freshmen on for New Zealand.
We'll really see how the Steve Nance, the new trainer for the Wallabies, how his training regime has gone through this last 20 minutes. Game has been played at a frantic pace.
Jones, again loose ball for Marshall. Cobain got him, Willie O, and the Australians have pilfered. Advantage play, Larkham. Clever kick through, nasty bounce. Cullen wrapped up. Then tune the tackler. Coming back for Australia. Now can the Wallabies keep their cool here? Willie O, nowhere to go. He has to release. Here's June. Wallaby forwards need to get in there and support him.
Here we are, you're holding on.
There was no support there from the Wallaby forward pack.
Cool down now, George. Cool down now. Forward.
touch judges in.
And Jones grabs George Gregan by the scruff of the neck, and they continue it on as the scuffle goes on for the ball.
Ben Tune released that ball and then had a second go. That's where Clayton Thomas picked him up. And Gordon, you're right, there was not support there. But just got to get across that advantage line. Vital.
So Wallaby player down there for attention, Chris. Can you see who it is?
I think it's Willie O by the look of the leg.
He's had a bad run with knee injuries over the last couple of years, Willie O. Has had a knee reconstruction.
Kenzie, onside.
Cameron Lillycrap, former Wallaby, physiotherapist now.
Jones took it. Here's Jonah. Straight through Larkham. Immediate explosion from Jonah Lomu. Spencer goes wide to Wilson. Roth from behind. Back to McLeod. That's Herbert wrapping him up. Turnover for Australia. Now Gregan to settle things down. Burke goes down the touchline. This is a huge kick. Will he get the bounce? He does. Now Cullen plays on quickly. Off the side of his boots. Well, again, Matthew Burke, the outstanding player on the field tonight. Wallabies back on attack.
Well, Christian Cullen did the right thing there, took the quick restart, but the kick did not work out. So Phil Kearns back on the field. His experience will help.
And you can hear the call as Matthew Burke kick. He's from outside 50.
Matt Cobain at the back. Bowman goes low to drive. Again, composure needed from the Wallabies here. Blades controlling to Gregan and Larkham. Herbert's out wide. Here's Roth. He went without it. The execution letting Australia down. Well, they're handing momentum back to New Zealand.
Joe Roth did very well, and he made the mistake, but then he covered up for it. New Zealand with that splitted counter-attack are lethal.
This is the move to get the depth in the Australian backline. Just failed to come off.
Here's Randall. Charging up to Wilson. Now New Zealand working up towards halfway. Spencer looked to go to the left. Craig Dowd. Willio's in there. That's Marker. Marshall. Good defence from Eels. Coming back for New Zealand again. Chance on the open side here. Cullen just caught Little. Brilliant pass to Lomu. Here they go, Marker to Jonah. Oh, Marshall, can he get it back to an Australian? He does. Horan still in play. And a relieving kick by Tim Horan. But what about that support from the All Blacks?
Sensational play. Coming in depth. The switch pass is really confusing the Wallaby defence, but eventually they regathered their nerves. Water Little, look at him go. Gets the ball. What's this pass from Carlos Spencer, the big man, Jonah Lomu, and Marker takes it on.
Here go New Zealand again. McLeod almost slicing through. Kronfeld's there to pick up the loose ball. He's driven back in the tackle. Wilson goes in for it.
Get off the yellow, get off the yellow!
Coming back for New Zealand. There's no one out on the left here for the All Blacks. There is Walter Little. Joe Roth and Burke. Wilson in front. No fullback here. Cullen Herring back. Burke has put it deep again. Kearns is coming through. Burke!
Do it all yourself. And he wants to throw it in, and does.
Here we go for Cobain. New Zealand surprised by the quick line-outs. Wallabies so close here. They come through to spoil. Brooks all over him. Herbert's still going. The line just metres ahead. The referee's playing advantage for the penalty. Kearns now, and Horan. Horan's there. Marker holds on. The Wallabies so close. So we're going to have a penalty here in front of the posts. A long advantage played.
That's dynamic play from the Wallabies. Quick thinking by Matthew Burke. Found Bowman. I do think they could have got wide in this melee and got themselves a try, but they got the 3 points almost certainly.
I think Matthew Burke should get more involved. The kick, the chase, the throw, he is in everything.
This has been the most dominating display I think I've ever seen from a fullback. He has shown the full range of skills in rugby football here tonight at the MCG. Horan and Blades and Kearns trying to drive over that goal line. Burke from point-blank range. Just to put it back out to 8 in favour of the Wallabies. Matthew Burke, 24. New Zealand, 16.
Great pictures from up above. It doesn't even give credence to the battle that's going on the field.
Well, the Wallabies just can't shake New Zealand, though. The All Blacks hit back every time. Here's Willie O. He's had that knee bandaged. He stands in the tackle back to Crowley. This is where New Zealand want to keep Australia now. Kearns! Cobain! Marshall the tackler. Wallabies working it up the short side. Here's Bowman. He puts his head down. Regan goes in. 10 from halfway. Larkham now. Rifling down the touchline. Very sensible play there from the Australian fly half.
Just over 10 minutes. And they're just playing a little more conservative game here, but they must continue to attack. With the explosive pick-up and drive has been sensational in the second half from the Wallabies.
Owen Finnegan just raring to go. Will he be required in the last 10 minutes? New Zealand now. March it, 8 metres. You can hear the talk from Justin Marshall. Coming back. That's an automatic penalty offence when the ball's up off the ground in a maul and players are engaged around the ball. You cannot pull it down. So New Zealand now looking for a big touch finder because they'll have the line out throw. Spencer takes it over halfway. Score here 24-16.
Spencer the magician.
1-10-10.
Well, we've just seen a line-out infringement by Australia. The All Blacks trailing by 8 are going to send this one down the touchline again.
Looked like a bit of an Academy Award, this one. Plenty of grunts going on. It's just good line-out play from the Wallabies.
Well, Robin Brooke, a very experienced man there, Chris. If he was milking a penalty, he did it superbly.
Oh, yeah, well, you do what you can do, and Mehrtens back onto the touch. It's well-bandaged head.
That's Robin Brooke at the front. The All Blacks got their try from a driving maul in the first half.
Well, they've got to get this depth in behind this.
Eels is reading it now. There's Randall and Marshall. Little. Jonah ran into a Wallaby brick wall. Tune came in to follow him.
Tackle, not coming. Rock ball.
And Andrew Mehrtens is coming onto the field, but Scott McLeod is coming off. So Spencer will stay on. You'll probably see Carlos Spencer go to second 5-8.
Wallabies clinging to this 8-point lead. 7.5 minutes to go.
Scott McLeod not too happy about leaving the field, but he's off now on the far side.
Wallaby scrum has provided a terrific platform for the home team tonight. Randall now to Marshall. Big hit by Gregan and Cobain. New Zealand drive in low. Now they have it. They're looking for the try. Walter Little straightening up. Wallaby defence to be tested here on this open side. Almost intercepted. Randall. Yellow hands all over it. Mehrtens. Spencer goes wide. Kronfeld offloaded to Spencer. Jonah Longu. Pile driving defence from a very determined Daniel Herbert and Stephen Larkham.
You just get the feeling that the All Blacks are missing that grunt that comes from Sean Fitzpatrick and Zinzan Brooke. As they pummel the big man into touch.
Well, 6 minutes ago, Buddha, I'm not prepared to make that judgment as Andrew Blades goes out for some treatment.
This is anyone's match. Score here 24-16, 6 to go. Andrew Blades, who has really been a solid rock on the tight head side, getting some encouragement from Cameron Lillicrap, a member of the Grand Slam Wallabies in 1984. Alan Jones, the Grand Slam coach, addressed the team this morning for 45 minutes with Alec Evans. John Eales getting above Ian Jones, a vital line-out win to the Wallabies. They have to get it out of here. Burke's the man to do it. And New Zealand this time obstructing the line-out jumper.
Well, he's got it for pulling John Eales down that time. He has been consistent, Clayton Thomas.
Well, I think he's done a terrific job tonight, Clayton Thomas from Wales.
It was the great unknown going into this test match, but it's been a super test match, and he's done a fantastic job, Clayton Thomas.
And Owen Finnegan on the touchline. Apparently Willie O will come off. That knee is still troubling him. I wonder if we'll see it here. The referee. There it is. Willie O off and Owen Finnegan on, and that could be vital energy he provides, Finnegan, right in the engine room.
Well, Finnegan's a very smart player. The All Blacks respect him. He turns over a lot of ball from the opposition. And he is now one of the fittest men in the Wallaby squad. He finished second in the beep test. That's a bad throw. Jones has picked it. Little now. Spencer. Just almost there. Little with Larkham the tackler. Wallabies trying to get this one back. They've slowed it up again through David Wilson. Slow ball for New Zealand. There's not much on here. Craig Dowd. He puts his head down. Bowman with a big tackle. Referee plays advantage.
Hold! Yellow 4 against you!
Touch judge in, Ed Morrison.
Against you, killing the ball!
He's out of it now.
4.
So this really is a tough decision. They have to have a shot because that puts New Zealand within 5 points of Australia. So a converted try would win it. Willie Opahengawe in a lot of pain there. Dr. John Best from the Eastern Suburbs Club. Incidentally, the Whitman's Lightship celebrates a crowd of 75,000. But I was going to mention about the Eastern Suburbs Club, one of their great stalwarts, Perce Newton, died yesterday.
Carlos Spencer lines this one up.
So Spencer now. And he's pulled it right across goal. So It's been a horror tale for the Kiwi goal kickers tonight. Time running out for New Zealand. 8 points the difference. They really had to get that goal. Here's Marshall with a nasty bounce. That was a Burke dropout. Marker straight into Bowman, who stood his ground. New Zealand weighed in. It's been tough going for the All Blacks. Great hands there. Now Spencer. Kronfeld is driven back in the tackle. The Wallaby defence has been very well organised tonight. And there's another penalty. Is there enough time for New Zealand? New Zealand have it. Here's Mehrtens, a wild pass to Wilson. And again, put that down to the Wallaby pressure. So Owen Finnegan making his mark here. The Wallabies leading by 8 points. A little bit of rain seems to be falling here at the MCG. New Zealand still alive. Mehrtens to Spencer. Out wide to Lomu. Look at the tackle from Herbert. Ball and all.
I think those drops might be tears from New Zealand supporters in these high stands.
Back for Marshall again. Mehrtens. Wallaby defence has been outstanding, and Larkham was over, but the whistle had gone. It may not matter. There was a knock-on, says referee Thomas. The crowd didn't like it.
Let's watch it. Mehrtens head bandage. Big hit there. Looks like Bowman coming in. Oh, it's tough to call.
Yes, it looked to come off the Wallaby hander. Great call there by Thomas. Here we go now, Wilson. New Zealand in all sorts of trouble again. Gregan! Tune! Back for Gregan. New Zealand come away through Little. Deliberate knock-on, says the referee.
Clive Norling would have given a penalty try for that one back in the old days.
Well, that is surely the end of the road for New Zealand. The Wallabies have inflicted the first Tri-Nations defeat on the All Blacks in 3 seasons. We haven't had the final whistle, but time is just about up on the clock. You can hear the crowd counting down. There's the hooter. Matthew Burke misses. It doesn't matter. It's an 8-point victory to the Vodafone Wallabies. They have done it in style. They answered every New Zealand challenge in the second half. Matthew Burke with a scintillating man-of-the-match performance. 2 tries, 1 conversion, and 4 penalty goals for New Zealand. Kronfeld and Ian Jones tries. Mehrtens a penalty, Spencer a penalty. Final score, the Wallabies 24, New Zealand 16.
Well, after 4 years in the wilderness, the Wallabies have come out and produced a fantastic victory here at the MCG. All round from 1 to 15, and the interchange from the bench has produced a superb performance in attack and defence. The guys will get in here, they'll sing the anthem, and then you'll see them do a victory lap here at the 75,000 strong crowd at the MCG.
Well, Chris Handy down on the touchline. Over to you.
Kane Randall, disappointment would be something you're probably feeling at the moment.
Well done to Australia. They deserved their win. You know, defence was marvellous. You know, we're gutted, but it's just part of it. We've got a game in a couple of weeks, so we're looking forward to that.
The build-up, did you feel that the preparation was perfect, or were there things still left to be done?
Build-up wasn't perfect, but it was good enough. Tonight we just couldn't put it together, and you know, Australia turned our ball over, which we wanted to free up pretty quickly, and they did well, got the points.
Thanks, Kane.
Thanks, Chris.
Well, what a great moment for 15 members of this 22-man Wallaby squad. Their first ever victory over the All Blacks. John Eales has been there before. So has Tim Horan, Dan Crowley and others. And Phil Kearns too. That is his 7th win in 15 outings against New Zealand in test matches. But led spectacularly by Eales with the thrust and all-round brilliance of Matthew Burke at the back. And that second half defence really won it for the Wallabies, Simon.
It did. They scrambled when the All Blacks threatened on their line. Sure, they got through the initial defence there, but the scrambling was superb. And look this side. Give them a huge cheer. It's great for Australian rugby, and I think it's great for world rugby.
What a world stage we have here at the MCG. The Wallabies 24, ending New Zealand's great run. 16 for the All Blacks, an 8-point victory. We'll be back.
And the Wallabies milking the applause in Melbourne, as they should do. They've waited 4 years for a victory over the All Blacks. The sweet taste of victory. Now, there's still plenty more live sports still to come here on Sky Sports today. Don't forget that over on Sky Sports 1 now, you'll be able to find out how Essex and Leicestershire are getting on in the B&H Cup final. On Sky Sports 2 tonight, a double bill of American golf, the US Senior Players Championship at 6 o'clock, followed by Day 3 of the Quad City Classic at 7:30. And coming up here on Sky Sports 3 today, it's horse racing dominating the schedule. We're covering a total of 5 meetings across the country, starting this afternoon at 2 at Lingfield, Chester and Salisbury. Then at 6:30 they go at Southall and Warwick. But down under, it's been Australia's day. It's been Matt Burke's day. 2 tries, 24 points. The All Blacks put to the sword. Burke was inspired. His kicking saw the Aussies through to a memorable day, an historic victory. The first time the All Blacks have been beaten in the Tri-Nations. They lead the series. We'll talk to Bob and Shane after the break.
In August, football comes home. Newcastle, Fiorentina, Middlesbrough and Benfica battle it out in the JD Sports Cup. In the Charity Shield, Arsenal meet Manchester United. Then, Southampton take on Liverpool, while newly promoted Nottingham Forest travel to Highbury as the best league in the world kicks off. There'll be pulsating action from all the divisions of the Nationwide League. And we begin our biggest ever season of Scottish football with Hearts v Rangers. While England's newly named Worthington Cup gets started, with 24 live matches in August and over 230 throughout the season, Sky Sports really is the home of football.
We like... we don't like. No one is more dedicated to keeping you moving than the RAC.
Quiet, please. Play.
I used to dream of a white wedding. What a nightmare.
Athlete's foot can be hard to shake off. That's because there can be 2 bugs to deal with. Unlike most treatments, Dactarin gets both, giving athlete's foot a blast! Dual-acting Dactarin.
technology for photographic memory. The British Heart Foundation need to raise £1 million for equipment that can start a heart beating again.
Clear.
To make a donation, phone 0990 100 370.
It's been 4 years since Australia last tasted that sweet taste of victory over the All Blacks, but the drought is over. At the MCG, they've opened their Tri-Nations account with a 24 points to 16 victory. The first Tri-Nations defeat for the All Blacks. A day Matt Burke won't forget. He scored all 24 points for Australia, and the Wallabies now have a one-game lead in the three-match Bledisloe Cup series. Well, I'm in the studio with one happy Australian and one not so happy New Zealander there. Bob, a great day for Australian rugby.
Yeah, it was a great victory based on swarming defence whenever New Zealand looked dangerous. And in that last 10 minutes when New Zealand had to score a try, really, then the Australian defence just drove them backwards. 3 guys in most tackles. And poor New Zealand goal kicking, which didn't help them,
yeah,
but really Australia deserved to win the game, and fantastic.
Would you agree with that? Australia deserved to win the game, and perhaps the All Blacks just missing that edge they usually have.
Yeah, as much as I hate to agree with Bob, they did, purely based on their defence. The defence was outstanding, and I think probably they're saying Matt Burke's the man of the match. I disagree. I'd say Daniel Herbert is. The Australian 8 must be very, very proud of themselves. They held the All Black 8. They made sure at some stages during the game they actually dominated. And I think the difference was Herbert and Horan in midfield. Like, Daniel Herbert just sliced through the All Blacks like it was nothing out there, and made valuable yards and just kept Australia on attack. But
and strangely enough, the Australians were showing the All Blacks a thing or two about ball retention as well, weren't they, today?
Yeah, well, once again, defence. Power of defence causes ball turnovers. A couple of unforced errors by the All Blacks, but the rest of them swarming defence, rolling the guy in the tackle, or sometimes just hitting him hard and stopping him in his tracks. Tom Bowman on Isotolo Marker. Oh, what a huge hit. Yeah. 2 big men.
Some real crunching tackles out there. Well, one man who was at the thick of all the best of the Australian action was their captain, John Eales. He's been talking to Chris Handy.
John Eales, describe for us what the feeling's like to win a Bledisloe in Melbourne.
It's great. I mean, that's not the Bledisloe yet. It's the Bledisloe match, not the Bledisloe Cup. We've still got a long way to go for that. It's a great feeling. I mean, everything we worked towards was heading towards tonight. Big night in Melbourne. We had fantastic support from the crowd, and that helped us so much tonight.
What was the difference? Was it the scrum? Was it the line-out? Was it the kick-offs?
Well, I think we went very well in the scrum. Our line-out certainly could have improved a bit. The kick-offs went okay, but I think all around the ground we made a lot less mistakes than what we have against New Zealand over the last few years, and that's the telling difference. If you don't make those mistakes, you can maintain pressure over long periods of time. And I think the defence of the guys was outstanding.
John, on that note, we'll leave you to enjoy the moment.
Thanks, Buddha.
Defensive organisation there, and error-free rugby. That is the recipe for success against the All Blacks, according to John Eales.
Yeah, easily said, difficult to achieve. He didn't mention Australia's kickoffs, but they were terrific. Australia actually won back 3 of their own kickoffs. Ealesy 2 of them, and he probably got his hand to the 3rd one. He had a great game, John Eales. It's a long time since I've seen him that involved at test level. When he first came onto the scene, that was what we saw from him, and tonight we saw it again. Big games by quite a few guys, and Ealesy was one of them.
And crucially, the All Blacks, unused to being on the back foot, and they were taking some big hits there, weren't they?
Yeah, well, you know, usually the All Blacks use the likes of Isotolo Marker and Jonah Lomu to come on, make the yards, get over the advantage line and go from there. But as Bob was saying, there was some amazing hits, and I've never seen Isotolo Marker stopped the way he was tonight. He was stopped either on the advantage line or actually 2 or 3 metres behind it. Hence, the All Blacks had to go back to rucks, and they were finding it hard. And I think Andrew Mehrtens and Carlos Spencer lost their way a couple of times insofar as the right things to do, and it was purely based, again, on the defence of the Australians.
And, Bob, any question marks over whether Stephen Larkham could handle it at number 10 for Australia in a tight game were answered today, weren't they? He seemed to control the game when he needed to.
He had a big game, and as you said, his control when Australia were on the back foot was there. At times he just put the ball deep. He was happy to let it roll along the touchline. If it went in a touch, he was happy enough. If it stayed in field, he was probably happier because the pressure was then back on New Zealand. No, he did very well in defence, and did very well taking the ball to the line a couple of times when there was nothing else on. And I heard Shane say early in the game, boy, he's strong, Larkham, isn't he? Because he took the ball up, was able to turn in the tackle, stay on his feet to wait for support to come, yet still not concede a turnover.
Well, let's remind ourselves of how it went in the game. Of course, the All Blacks were the first to score through Josh Kronfeld, through a well-organised line-out. We're just reminding ourselves of the chronology of what happened. They went behind here, didn't they? And it was at this stage we thought, the same old All Black.
Yeah, well, they'd absorbed a good 15, 20 minutes of pressure from the Australians without conceding a point, and you know, this is just normal All Black play. They'll absorb the pressure, come back and score, and as Bob attested to, it was great work from Josh Kronfeld in that ruck. This is one Matt Burke will, like I say, remind us forwards, but he'll remind us forwards there, because it was you know, most forwards would be proud to do a pick and go like that and go up the middle, and it just opened up for him.
It was good play by Australia. You guys said it was hard work in here. It was really easy, Burke.
Yeah, I bet you that's what he'll be telling them.
John Hart, well, this will be extremely painful viewing for him, a man who prides himself on his planning and his organisation. And he looks at this, he'll be thinking, how could we make such basic errors?
Well, I don't be surprised to see new blood in the next Tri-Nation games. But
like who? Who are they?
They got a couple of young props in New Zealand. Carl Hoff's one, he wasn't shown tonight. That they'll probably look at using him, and that young Royce Willis and the locks. I mean, I think John Hart's got to now look at getting some enthusiasm and some hunger back in there, because the boys just seemed to be going through the motions, even though this got them back this try.
Yeah. But this is when you thought the All Black ability to come from behind just when they needed to strike, you thought perhaps it was still there.
Yeah, you did, but then you got a sense the first 20 seconds into the second half, Daniel Herbert just sliced through again, and I was thinking, oh, here we go again with the Australians. But they maintained the pressure, the Australians. You know, that's something they haven't done over the last 2 or 3 years, is kept the pressure on. They've made New Zealand pay a couple of times, but then they've let themselves off the accelerator. But tonight they just wanted the game, and they wanted to win, and they kept the pressure on.
And Bob, Matt Burke, his boot keeping Australia just with their noses in front enough to give them that edge.
Actually, this passage of play typifies Australia's ability to get back in defence, because tremendous New Zealand support play, players coming from depth behind the ball, and yet about 5 or 6 really critical tackles made, and then Australia come up with the ball because they had more players back than New Zealand had following through. That's so important, the ability to get back.
It did seem that Australia were hungrier for this game than the All Blacks.
Well, I mean, as I said, Marker and Lomu, you don't see them stopped in their tracks the way they were tonight. You know, we saw in that passage of play there, twice Jonah Lomu got stopped and out in open field play, and you just don't see that. Jonah Lomu normally always breaks tackles, but tonight the Australians just wouldn't let him.
I mean, the final analysis, when John Hart looks at the overall game and what happened, where will he pinpoint as the major weaknesses in the All Black side today?
Well, so often they've been dominant up front, and they weren't tonight. They were probably dominated for a good part of the game, and I think he's got to look in the engine room. We touched on it pre-game, that the tight five are under pressure. I think they're under a heck of a lot more pressure now. And I think he's got to look at the midfield, and he's got to settle on a combination there, because it looked like Walter Little and Scott McLeod didn't know each other tonight, because they left gaps out there that the likes of Horan and Herbert and also the South African midfielders will exploit if it continues.
Perhaps it wouldn't have happened if Bunsen Little had been in the midfield.
Oh, certainly not. No. Not with Bunsey there, no.
But let's switch the attention to the Wallabies. Of course, it is their day today. We shouldn't forget that, because they have beaten the All Blacks the first time in 4 years. I suppose you might see the same 15 players selected for the 5th successive time now against South Africa next week.
Yeah, you might. I thought there was perhaps one guy, Tutai Kefu, I thought was shown up for lack of agility, perhaps lack of pace, although I don't think that's really true, but certainly lack of agility on a wide short side there when Mehrtens went through just before half-time. And I'd be very concerned about that. A back row has got to be able to defend against an opposition midfield player much better than Kefu did. Perhaps it's being overly critical, but I don't think Willie would be the answer to that, because maybe Willie's agility, acceleration from a standing start is maybe a little bit questionable too. I'm not so sure about that, but that's certainly of concern. You can't just let an easy break like that be made. That was for Ian Jones's try. I think New Zealand will be looking to their midfield, but I think Australia will be very, very happy with theirs.
What do you think John Eales was saying to the team? He gathered them around after the final whistle there. Do you think he said this is just part 1 of 4? We've got 4 games to play in this Tri-Nations series. We're off to a great start, but come on, lads, let's not get overexcited about this.
That's exactly what he would have been saying. I'm sure that
I was lip reading.
I'm sure he got them around and said, "Okay, fellas, that's step 1, and we're here with a mission, and We've got another 2 games against New Zealand, but we've got South Africa next week in Perth, and let's make sure we stay together, stay focused, and let's enjoy this moment. But come bedtime tonight, let's be thinking about next week.
Well, Shane, the objective viewpoint for next week, Australia, South Africa, if they continue that kind of form, will they beat the South African, the world champions?
Well, I think so. You know, it's hard to gauge how South Africa win. I mean, they destroyed Wales, but you can't really gauge off that. And they tended to struggle against Ireland. So, you know, their build-up isn't exactly on song with what they'd want going into the Tri-Nations. The Australians have had a taste of hard rugby now. It was a very tough game out there. So they're one step up on the South Africans. And I think, you know, as Bob said, the Australians can't just let this win be it, and that's it, then get beaten next week and then lose the week after that. They've just thrown everything out the door that they've done this 80 minutes. And I think you'll see Australia probably come out a little bit stronger next week and hit South Africa with everything they've got.
Well, their confidence has got to be at a high, and of course next week you'll be able to see that game here on Sky Sports. Australia against South Africa from Perth. It's on Sky Sports 3, live and exclusive, next Saturday from 10:30 in the morning. Should be good, shouldn't it? Well, our thanks to Shane Howarth and Bob Dwyer for joining us in the studio this afternoon. We thought it was going to be all black today. Unfortunately, for the All Blacks, it was all gold. We'll see you next time.